Hello, you. How are you doing today, my wonderful, beautiful planty people? I hope you are fabulous. I'm doing great. I am getting all kinds of plant chores done today, and usually on days like this, I would just want to like plow through stuff, but I really have to like wrap my head around the mindset. Like, a lot of the things that I'm doing are things that you guys would want to see, or at least things that I think you would want to see and that you guys tell me you want to see. But I tend to just like do them on my own and then, you know, kick myself later for not recording things. So anywho, today I've got some things to pot up. I have some things to repot. Nothing big, all like smaller things. So I thought I would just take you along with me, and hopefully that sounds interesting or something that you would like to watch. I think more so I have a couple plants to pot, and then I have to move some plants around in my little terrarium. I have a couple plants in there that aren't growing like they would outside of it, so I think maybe they just don't like the extra humidity. That happens. Sometimes plants don't need that higher humidity, and it does sit between 85 and 95% in my terrarium, which is fairly high for a lot of plants. Some plants are absolutely loving it, and other plants are like, I could do without. So we're just going to switch some stuff up here. I have some stuff outside of the terrarium currently that I want to put in there because I think it'll do a lot better. So yeah, so that is what we're doing today. For those of you who are new here, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Nikki, and this is my channel, Plants, Pots, and Whatnots. And for my lovely, wonderful GFPs, my gluttons for punishment, who keep coming back for more, thank you guys so much. You guys are so amazing, so supportive. I just love you to little bitty bits. Okay, let's stop plant procrastinating. Plant procrastinating, and I'm still doing it. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is pot up my Monstera Aurea. This is its newest leaf. It already has another one working on it there, which is really, really cool. You can see just a little teeny tip. It's really teeny, but it has a bump already, which is pretty wild. I was told that these guys grow more slowly than their white albo counterparts. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, so far, I'm going to call BS, but I mean, the plant's still small. Maybe they grow faster when they're smaller. You know, you'd think that they would grow because they tend to have more green or chlorophyll. Even the yellow, I think, probably has a little bit more chlorophyll than the plain white would. So, I don't know. Anyway, long and short is that we need to put it in a pot today. So, which I forgot over on the counter. Let me go grab the pot. Okay. So I got this little pot. I think it should be fine in here. So we've got that. Let's set you over here. We're not quite ready for you just yet. And I need to break things. So I've got some soil in here. I've got lots of perlite, and I just need to add a little bit of this charcoal and this bark here. It's a nice, light, airy mix, and I think it's going to be perfect for this guy. So I'll go ahead and pour some charcoal in. Just lean right over it, Nikki, you dumbass. And let's pour in some bark. This orchid mix is actually really, really nice. It has, I don't know if it says on the outside what it's got. It says it has Canadian sphagnum peat moss chunks, hardwood charcoal, red pine bark, and volcanic rock. So that's a really, really nice mix. It is a Canadian brand. I don't know if you can get it in the US. I imagine probably you can. But I am ridiculously impressed with this, and it was $7.99 at Belgian nurseries in Breslau. So in case you're in the area, I thought that was a pretty good deal, and it's really good bark. So whether you use it for orchids or whether you're using it for like an aroid mix of some kind, it's the perfect size to use for like larger aroids. Okay, it's all mixed up there. Get right down the bottom. All right. That looks fantastic. I always get so excited. Look. Doesn't that look awesome? Whew. Okay. So, let's clear some space here. Get my handy dandy oil pan. Let me see if I can angle you down so you can see. No? Yes? Good enough. Okay. Let's get some mix in here. You know what bothers me? I'll like get a mix perfected and I find these ingredients that I love and that work so well, and then it never fails that one of those ingredients I can either like can't find anywhere anymore, the place that I was buying it doesn't sell it anymore, and it's so frustrating because then you go on this like hunt to try to find more ingredients and nothing's just quite right. So I found this stuff and I really like it, so I'm kind of hoping that they just leave it alone. It's not like super close to me. I think it's about an hour and 15 minutes away, but I do know some people that live in that area, so I'm hoping that if I really need it, I can just get them to pick it up for me. We'll see. Okay, so let's get her out of there and let's take a look at her roots. I think she's got some good ones. Now she's in Perlite, and I know I went on this big thing and I've done it, said it in a few videos, and it does remain true. But the reason that I put this one in Perlite specific is because this was my #1 wish list plant forever. Like, was it 84 years? Yeah. So I really wanted to make sure I could see the roots, and it was simply for my own personal just putting my mind at ease. What am I trying to say? Anyway, and it worked. I can see like there's a big root right there. There's a couple big roots here. There's one right here. There's a few over here. So I can see the nice root growth because I kind of wanted to know, because this is my first experience with this particular variety of Monstera. I just really wanted to be able to see how it went. So anyways, I want to save this Perlite. So I'm just gonna, try to be so gentle. I don't want to break any of these roots that worked so hard on. There we go. I don't think I broke any off. I think we did okay. All right. Now that is some roots. Let's see if I can shake some of this Perlite off. I can put them in there with the Perlite on them. It's not a big deal. But wow. So when I first got this is something I couldn't show you guys last time. So when I first got this, it just had a little starting of a leaf right here. And it was just this big long aerial root here, this dark one you can see. And I've only had this for maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And it has grown all of these roots. So like, color me impressed, you know? Anyway, really, really happy to see that. Kind of trying to dust some of these bigger chunks of Perlite off here. But it seems to really have liked being rooted in Perlite, which is fabulous. All right, that's probably good enough. I don't want to damage them or mess with them too much. So slide that over. And that is going to be a perfect size pot. Look at that. It just fits in there perfectly with all the roots. And kind of get it where I want it. That looks like a good spot. And I'm holding it up out of the mix a little bit because I kind of want the soil to like work itself in and around the roots. So if you kind of hover the plant over, then when you drop the soil in, it kind of works its way around rather than putting it like right down and then dumping all the soil on top of the roots. I love the sound of chunky soil mix. I'm a nerd. Is that weird? Do you guys? Is it just me? I don't know. Give it a little tap. Them all down and around there. Now I'm wondering, I don't currently have any moss poles pre-made, but I do have, I think for now, I'm just going to put one of these in here. So it's got something to hold on to, and that'll just kind of stabilize a little bit for, actually, you know what? I'm going to cut that down just a hair. Anyway, oh, apparently I have an Amazon package. Okay, there we go. Anyway, that way, oh, that's a little large. That way, right from the get-go, it'll have something to support itself. And because plants like this, most aroids climb up things, and so we'll just give it a better start to have something to climb up sooner, and hopefully that will make it grow faster and bigger. Sorry, my chair squeaks. It's so annoying. Okay. There she goes. Oh, so satisfying. Love it. Just packing down the outsides a little bit. Oh, I need to get a new chair, don't I? Give her another little few taps. I'm going to give her a little bit of water just to settle that soil, because soil will kind of sink down in a little bit, and then I can probably just give it a little top up. Yeah, you can kind of see it's, I don't know if you can see that or not. If I lift it up, I'm going to make a mess. But anyway, the soil just kind of sinks down in spots. So I just kind of like arrange it. I don't want to pack it in there too tight, because then the soil will become too compacted. But I also, while I'm here, want to make sure it's as settled as it can be. And then I'll just top it up with a little bit more mix. Oh, making a mess. Story of my life. There we go. All right, now I just need a little piece of the Velcro. And I'm just gonna tie it around this big leaf. I don't want to tie it around the actual stem that's growing that new plant, because it's just too small as of yet, but I do want it to be slightly stable. So there we go. Oh, I love it so much. Finally. I'll get you up close. You can see that. Oh, we got water already. Let me try to You can see that new leaf there. It's starting slowly to show what the variegation is going to look like. Unlike with an albo, it's because it's a lighter color, it's a darker color, it's yellow as opposed to white. It's not quite as easy to see the variegation when the leaf is new, but as it hardens off, then you're going to get something more like this, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So happy to have this, so incredibly grateful. I think that's the nice thing sometimes about waiting for plants, is that I think you have a better appreciation for them when you do get them and they mean a little bit more, rather than just that instant gratification getting whatever whenever. Because I've waited so long for this plant, I think it's just that much more special. So I'm going to go put her on a very prime location on my shelf, and hopefully she makes the change from the greenhouse out to out here. Okay. Monsteras aren't like humidity pigs or anything like that. They don't usually really care. Really, I had it in the greenhouse so that it would root faster, and it really did. So now that it's rooted, we've got her in her mix, and hopefully she'll be happy as a clam. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll figure out what we're gonna do next. I have so many different things to do that I'm just like, blah, blah. I might actually do the terrarium in a separate video, just make that like its own thing. But I do have a couple more plants that I need to pot, or repot, I mean. So anyway, thinking out loud here. All right, so that's the first part. I will be right back, and we will get to our second plant chore. Okay, this is another plant that I want to get potted into a bigger pot. This is, you saw this recently in my, I think it was my plants of June. So this is my Begonia Brevirimosa. I think this is the species Exotica. I believe the Exotica has the wider leaves, and this definitely has that. I think the non-Exotica version, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm getting these crossed, but I think the non-Exotica version has, they're a little bit more narrow leaves. Anyway, this definitely needs a bigger pot, and I thought it would look so sweet in this white pot. I think it would just look so nice. So that's what I'm gonna do. And, oh, well, I break things. So let's get some soil. Now, begonias don't like super chunky soil, so I'm going to try to get a lot of the stuff that doesn't have a whole lot of chunk to it. I do want to throw some more of this perlite in here. Not that you can see anything I'm doing. I'm just like, I've got some extra perlite in here from that Monstera that I'm just kind of putting in here and stirring around, and I'm trying to get a lot of the soil that didn't have, man, I didn't want soil in here. No, that's fine. I'm gonna dump it in there anyway. Okay. Sorry, I'll figure it out then. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying. I didn't want super chunky mix because begonias don't need that really barky mix. Grab my little knife here. Oh, this guy is drying out really fast, and that was one of the ways that I knew that it needed to be repotted. So now I'm trying to be really careful because begonia roots are much more delicate than like aroid roots are, like philodendrons, monsteras, and so forth. So I don't want to damage anything, and this plant's doing so well and it's so pretty. Let's try to ease her out of there maybe. Oh boy. Just slightly wiggle it. Woo, there we go. All right. Now let me show you. See the roots on this? How they're much more fine as I dropped soil everywhere. They're much more fine and delicate than roots on an aroid. So I think she's gonna enjoy being in this pot. She's got room to stretch her feet, stick her legs out, put them up. And then we're just gonna go ahead and fill them in. Let's see. Some more perlite in around here. So when I repot plants, I try not to. So, okay, I got two thoughts and they both tried to come out at the same time. It's the way my brain works. So unless it's like really, really root bound where it's coiled so tightly you can't see a whole lot of soil, sometimes then I'll try to gently manipulate the roots, or a couple of roots at least apart. But you don't need to massage roots of plants when you're repotting them. They know how to grow, they know how to stretch out and find their own way. So I tend to just take it from one pot, put it into another, and trust me, plants just find a way to make that okay. You don't need to like damage the roots trying to get them undone or anything like that. So, all right. I am also going to throw, so Begonia Brevirimosa is more so like a cane begonia. Somebody asked me this in my last video where I showed this plant. But in the wild, they actually are yeah, I guess in the wild. Makes it sound like I'm talking about an animal. In nature, they are actually like a shrub. They grow into like this big shrub, but they probably require, like they will require being staked because they do get really top heavy and they will flop over. So I think what I'm going to do right off the hop here is throw two small stakes in on either side of this plant, just to give it some stability so that I don't risk it getting too big too quick and then snapping one of the stems. And I've got a couple older leaves here at the bottom that I'm just going to snip off. I was just getting a little, you know, it's one of the original leaves. Try to do this without. There we go. I think that's good. The rest of them look okay. That one's a little crusty, but it's fine. All right. Now, same with the other one. I'm just going to give it a little slug of water here to kind of settle it in, and then we'll just kind of backfill as necessary. Yeah, we don't need too much. That's good. Okay, I'm going to get the stakes in first. So I'm going to use one of these smaller ones and cut it in half because I don't need, obviously I don't need big tall ones. And just these thin ones should be fine. Let's see. About that long. Oh, okay. And then I'm gonna do the little hack here where, because it doesn't need to be like super thick, so I cut a piece off and then I just cut it like lengthwise. And then for smaller plants, it's not so like chunky and intrusive looking. All right. So we'll do this one on this side. And we'll tie it right about there. These are way too long. I did not need pieces that long. Whatever works, right? Okay. There's one. And then we're going to put the other one. Right there. There we go. Wonder if this will fit. Sort of. Right. So now it looks a little wonky because I've maneuvered the leaves around, but they'll straighten out again and be all forward facing and looking pretty. It's the only problem with white pots, right? They get dirty easily. Okay, so there is repotting number 2, my Begonia Brevirimosa. Also, I'm like really envious of people who can grow this outside so that it gets into a shrub. Can you just imagine what this would look like as a big shrub? I'll try to find a picture and put it in here. Like, they're just beautiful. And again, I'm not like going all full begonia, but I really like this one like a lot. And I'm still on the hunt for that Julau begonia because it's another one that I'd really like to try my hand at growing. I just like pink plants. Okay, just rambling now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy back in my IKEA cabinet. And I think I have one more that I want to repot. I think we'll just do the terrarium stuff because there's a lot involved in that. And we'll just do that in another video. So make sure that you keep your eyes open for that. Okay, I'm gonna go put her back. Okay, the last plant that I want to repot with you guys today is my little King Anthurium. He used to be a big King Anthurium. If I can find a photo, I'll put it in here. Sorry, this is a weird angle, but it's the only way I could get you to see the table. Anyway, so it has been in this pot for a while now, and I'm gonna take it out. I want to check the roots and put it in a smaller pot. So I'm going to be putting it in this pot instead. It's like one size down, and I'm going to change out the soil because, like I said, it's been in this soil for a while. And I want him to really start recuperating well. I mean, he's doing much better than he was, like so much better than he was. And I think he's got a new leaf that he's working on there. So I want to get that done before that leaf starts to come out too much. And this is really heavy. I just watered it like yesterday, so this is going to be a nightmare, but gotta do what we gotta do. So this is just the moss that I've been putting around the tops of my anthuriums. They seem to like that, just keeping their like stems a little bit more moist. I've had great success with it so far, so if it's working, I'm just going to keep doing it. So I'll try to set that off to the side so that I can reuse it. And I don't know how, this is fairly chunky, so it shouldn't be too hard to get out of here. Yeah, the root system is not great, which I expected, but it is growing some nice chunky roots back, which is good. This plant did have a root rot, and all of this piece right here is all like, it's toast, but I don't want to pull it off there. I'm just going to leave it and let it regrow all of the rest of the roots. All of these, like this root here is good, and this is all new and still healthy. So I'm just gonna give him a smaller pot, a little bit better of a situation here. Actually, I think I'm just gonna use new moss for him too. So let's get our pot. Back up, you can see a little better. And then this is my aroid mix, but before I came back on camera here, I added some more of that perlite. So that perlite that I took out of the Monstera. And just because I wanted the soil to be a little more airy. And I did add a little bit more orchid bark. Hey, babe.
No.
So we'll get him down in there, and hopefully he will enjoy that. What is that?
Cabbage rolls.
Ooh, I don't have my glass on, so I can't see anything.
Oh, okay.
Those look delicious.
Yeah, they're like, and they're covered in like a sauce or something.
Sorry about that. Anyway, so just give him a little tap, try to get some of that soil down around the roots. I think I am going to put this other little piece of the stake in here for him, just to give him some stability. This. There we go. Alright, sorry if you couldn't see that very well. Alright, so I got them in this pot. As with the others, I'm going to give them a little slug of water. Let's just settle things down in there. There we go. This mix is so nice. Alright, now I'm not going to use that other moss. It's a little older. I've got some fresh moss that I made up yesterday. Oh, white pot problems. There we go. All right, so I got my big tub of moss sitting here. So I'm just gonna take some, put it all around the top. Let me angle the camera down. There. Ooh. The only thing with doing this that I've found that's a little irritating is it does dry out rather quickly. So usually I re-wet the moss. And depending on the humidity, wherever it is that you're putting these plants, will depend on how fast the moss dries out. But this plant is just out on my shelf, as with some of my other anthuriums that I've got mossed like this, and it does dry out pretty quick. So I usually did I say it already? Repeating myself. So anyway, I'm usually re-moistening this at least once a day. I just go around with my little spray bottle and give it a spray down, and it's working like a charm. So okay, there we go. I'm not going to give it any more water. That perlite was still fairly saturated, and so this mix is a little bit pre-moistened, and then with just that little slip of water, I think it will be totally fine. Plus with the roots already being a little bit sensitive, I don't want to like overwater it. Also, and I get asked this question a lot, especially since my painting pots video, and I did answer those questions in the comments, but when you paint a terracotta pot, it doesn't matter what you paint it with. This particular pot is, and the white pots that I used today were painted with an exterior an outdoor spray paint, so one that will hold up to, you know, rain and, you know, just more generally harsh conditions. Or if you seal it and use acrylic paints and that kind of thing, the terracotta then no longer has all of the same porous properties as it did if it was just like the raw material. So keep that in mind if you are painting pots. If you're switching your plants over to pots from terracotta to something else, you're going to have to adjust the watering or adjust the actual soil composure. So because I put this in a very highly well-draining mix, I just kind of have to keep that in mind, that it probably won't need to be watered quite as often, and it's going to stay a little bit more moist, but it's still really got that drainage. So anyway, long story short, just keep in mind that if you're putting from terracotta to something else, you're going to have to modify something, whether it be watering or the soil composure, etc. That was a long way to go about saying that. Anyway, so there we go. This guy is all done. So that's awesome. We got 3 repottings done that we needed to get done. And I feel good about that. So I'll go ahead and wrap this video up. Like I said, I'm trying to get more of these types of like just little videos done that I would normally, things that I would normally just like do on my own. I know a lot of times you guys miss out on seeing stuff like that. Whether I think it might be insignificant, it might really be helpful to somebody. So I'm trying to film a lot more of this stuff, whether that takes me a little a little bit longer, a couple extra days to get around to that, to, you know, to actually be able to film it, then so be it. But I'm trying to do that for you guys so that you can see all the stuff that I do on a regular basis. But sometimes also it is nice to just turn my brain off, throw some music on or some videos or an audiobook or whatever, and just plow through some stuff. So, I mean, there will be things that you guys don't see, but I'm trying to get better at showing you all of the little things that I would normally just do on my own. I'm really hoping I don't have soil on my face. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for liking and watching and commenting and subscribing. If you're not subscribed already, please consider doing so. It is a huge help for my channel. We are creeping up now on 10,000 subscribers. That blows my mind. I mean, I lost my mind at 1,000, so 10,000 to me is just like insane. I do have some special stuff planned for 10K. I'm trying to come up with something fun and unique, something to say thank you to all of you for just being amazing and supportive and watching my channel through all the bad videos and awkwardness, whatever. I appreciate it greatly. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for being a part of that and for just being amazing supporters of my channel and myself. I can't say thank you enough without it sounding completely insincere and repetitive, but just know that honestly, I appreciate every single one of you, because without every single one of you, I wouldn't be where I am now, and I think that's pretty amazing, so thank you. I will shut up now, I promise. I would like you all to have an amazing and wonderful day, night, week, month, and year. I love you all to bitty bits, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!